Listen, every couple finds themselves in seasons where they're just not really connecting and sharing like they used to. But over time, if you get stuck in that season, it can actually begin to feel like this is a hopeless situation and we're never going to be able to get back to the place where we can openly share with one another again and we just feel disconnected. So if that's where you are today, I've got good news for you. We're going to talk about 5 things you can begin doing today to close the gap in your communication and get back to a place where you're communicating well again. That's today on Relationshots. Welcome to Relationshots. My name's Eric Wooten. If this is your first time hanging out with us, welcome. So glad you're here. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss upcoming videos that will take your relationship to the next level. So last week we talked a little bit about 5 reasons couples stop sharing in relationships. And this week I wanted to come back and talk about 5 things we can do in relationship to close the communication gap and begin sharing again so that our intimacy and connection gets us back to the place where we're really enjoying our relationship again. Every couple finds themselves at some point getting to that place where most of their talk is surfacey. They're just not connecting at a deeper level like they used to. And a lot of times we don't know how to get out of here. So today we're going to talk about 5 simple things you can do to get back into a place where you're sharing again in your relationship. Number 1 is be honest. Yeah, quit lying. I know that seems obvious, it seems simple, but a lot of couples have just stopped being honest with one another. It may be little lies, it may be big lies. Maybe you just have some financial struggles and you don't like to tell your spouse because they get upset, and so over time you just stop telling them about them. But guess what? They usually find out anyway, and then on top of the little lie, they have a whole bunch of betrayal going on. So I'm going to encourage you to just be honest, just be upfront. If they get upset, that's a part of the process, but them getting upset at you being honest on the front end is much better than adding betrayal on the back end. And yes, being honest also includes those accidentally forgetting to give all the details or maybe fudging the details a little bit. That's all in there. You need to be honest at every aspect of the relationship, and this is even being honest about how you feel. So don't say, I don't care when you really do care. Don't say, I'm fine when you know you're not fine. Don't say, I'm not angry when you are angry. Don't say, it doesn't bother me when it does bother you. The key to relationship is being honest, and somebody else can work with your honesty. They'll never be able to work with what you're hiding from them or not telling them. So number 1 is be honest. Number 2 is be direct. Quit beating around the bush. Too many times we throw out hints and little cues and clues that we want them to pick up on, and then they don't pick up on them, and then we get frustrated, and then we really stop connecting. So listen, just be direct. Don't beat around the bush when you're trying to talk about something. Don't say something like this. So here's what not being direct looks like. You know, it really makes a spouse feel like their spouse doesn't care a whole lot when they never call from work. Don't beat around the bush. Say, I feel like you don't care about me when you don't text or call me from work ever in the day, and I would really like if you did that. That would make me feel like you cared about me. Be direct. I statements are your friend. I like it. I don't like it. I need. I want. I don't need. Be direct. I statements are your friend, so be direct. Number 3 is be courageous. Listen, in last week's video, we talked about one of the reasons we stop sharing are past fears. And so I'm going to challenge you to step into those fears. And even if you're not sure what the reaction is going to be, maybe it's been retaliation, it's been anger, it's been defensiveness, it's been withdrawal. I'm going to encourage you to be bold anyway and step into the conversation. Go ahead and be courageous. You're never going to be able to control everything that they say, but don't allow fear to get in the way of you stepping in and having a conversation with them. So be courageous in your conversations. Which leads us to number 4, which is not only be courageous, but you need to be gracious as well. We've been talking a lot about being courageous and being honest and being direct. But listen, we also need to extend grace to our spouse when we're having a conversation with them. Because if you're being honest and if you're being direct, they may not always respond well. And you are not responsible for their reaction or their response, but you can extend grace if they don't respond very well in the moment. Now, that doesn't mean that we dismiss it, that we never talk about it. You may need to talk about their response because it is important for them to create an environment that rewards honesty, not an environment that makes you pay for being honest. But you can, in the moment, be gracious. And if you need a third party to help you at some point down the road, get some help because they do need to own their response. But you can be gracious, and that will help if you extend a little bit of grace along the way. That's going to help you guys to reconnect again. Number 5 is be specific. Listen, too many times we start on one subject and then we start unloading all kinds of other stuff, and we've forgotten what we started talking about in the first place. A lot of couples would do a lot better in their communication if they could just stay on the specific issue they started on rather than getting sidetracked down somewhere else. Author John Trent had a video years ago that really impacted me where he talked about how quickly we move from the issue to attacking the person to questioning the relationship. Let me give you an example of what that looks like. So let's say your spouse leaves their clothes on the floor in the bathroom and they don't pick them up, and you want to address that thing. So you try to address it saying something like, it'd be really nice if you'd pick up your clothes and put them in the hamper because they don't put themselves in the hamper. But instead of staying on the issue, you quickly move to attacking the person and say something maybe to the effect of, you know what, you're just a lazy person. You just don't like to pick up anything. And then quickly you move from there to questioning the relationship. I don't know if I can be married the rest of my life to somebody who doesn't care about me and won't pick up their own stuff. And so quickly, in a matter of 30 seconds, we've all been there, but you'll move from the issue to attacking the person to questioning the relationship. And I want to encourage you to just stay on the issue. Keep it on the issue. Say something like, it would be really nice if you'd pick up your clothes and put them in the hamper because when you don't, I have to pick them up and then I get frustrated with you, period. Stay on the issue. Don't escalate into something else. So there you are. If you have not been connecting with your spouse or significant other, there's 5 ways. You can be honest, you can be direct, you can be courageous, you can be gracious, and please be specific. And I promise you that will begin to close the gap there has been in your communication and will begin to get you right on the same track again. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments section below. Have a discussion about what you thought about these 5 areas. And as always, if you thought this would be helpful to somebody you know, consider sharing it with a friend. I look forward to seeing you next time right here on Relation Shots.